Hi, we are Manson girls.
The dark allure of Charlie. How Charles Manson's grip led three women down a path of murder. For many who lived through the 1960s, the names Leslie Van Houten, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Susan Atkins are forever seared into the memory of a decade's violent end. These were not hardened criminals from broken homes in the traditional sense. They were young women from middle-class backgrounds, in their late teens and early 20s, who became ensnared by a charismatic, manipulative madman named Charles Manson. In the summer of 1969, they committed acts of such grotesque violence, first at the home of pregnant actress Sharon Tate, and then at the residence of grocer Leno LaBianca and his wife Rosemary, that they would forfeit their entire futures, trading the promise of youth for lifetimes behind bars. The question that has haunted the public consciousness for over 50 years is a simple yet profound one. How? How did a 5 feet 2 inches ex-con with messianic delusions gain such absolute power over these women that they would willingly slaughter strangers? The answer lies in a masterclass of predatory manipulation, one that preyed on the vulnerabilities of the era's counterculture. Manson positioned himself as a guru in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district during the 1967 Summer of Love, a magnet for young people seeking meaning and community. He offered lost souls a new family, a place of belonging. To join, however, meant submitting to his will entirely. His control was systematic and multifaceted. Manson used music and a pseudo-philosophical rap to attract his followers, but it was his psychological tactics that imprisoned them. He encouraged the heavy use of psychedelic drugs like LSD, placing his followers in highly suggestible states where he could embed his apocalyptic teachings directly into their minds. By orchestrating group sex, he dismantled traditional moral boundaries and fostered a sense of total permissiveness and loyalty to him alone. He was a keen observer of human weakness, able to read a person's emotional wounds and exploit them. He gave his followers new names. Atkins became Sadie Mae Glutz, and systematically severed their ties to their past lives and identities, making the family their sole reality. At the core of Manson's control was his bizarre racist ideology, which he called Helter Skelter. Inspired by the Beatles' song of the same name, he convinced his followers that an apocalyptic race war was imminent, and that they must commit murders and make them look like the work of black militants to trigger it. The bloody scrawls of pig on the Tate door and death to pigs at the LaBianca home were meant as signature flourishes to frame others for his crimes. The personal histories of the three women underscore how a combination of vulnerability and Manson's predation led to their downfall. Susan Atkins, 21 at the time of the murders, had a deeply troubled past. Her parents were alcoholics, and after her mother died of cancer when Susan was a teenager, her family disintegrated, leaving her to fend for herself. She later claimed that, like others in the family, she had come to believe Manson was Jesus. Patricia Krenwinkel, 21, was a former Catholic schoolgirl and insurance clerk who met Manson on a beach. She was the first follower to join him in Los Angeles. During the Tate murders, she stabbed coffee heiress Abigail Folger multiple times, later recalling in chillingly detached language that she felt nothing during the attack. Leslie Van Houten, just 19 years old, was a former homecoming princess who was introduced to the family through friends. During the LaBianca murders, she held a pillowcase over Rosemary LaBianca's head, while others stabbed her, and then, at the urging of a family member, she herself stabbed the already dead woman nearly 20 times in the back. The aftermath of that nihilistic summer was a lifetime of incarceration. All three women were arrested and tried. They were initially sentenced to death, but those sentences were commuted to life in prison after California temporarily abolished the death penalty in 1972. Susan Atkins died in prison in 2009 at the age of 61. A born-again Christian who had long since denounced Manson, she was, at the time of her death from brain cancer, the longest-serving female inmate in the California prison system. With Atkins' death, Patricia Krenwinkel assumed that unfortunate title. Now in her late 70s, she remains incarcerated. In 2022, Governor Gavin Newsom once again denied her parole, marking her 15th denial, stating that, while she had shown remorse, her efforts had not sufficiently reduced her risk for future dangerousness. Leslie Van Houten, now 73, has also been denied parole repeatedly, her applications often reversed by state governors. After serving 53 years, she was released from prison on parole in July 2023. She has long since denounced Manson and his teachings, but the question of whether a life can ever be redeemed after such a horrific beginning is one that continues to divide opinion. In the end, the story of these three women is one of profound tragedy. They were young, impressionable individuals who traded their potential for the poisonous doctrine of a madman, transforming themselves from seekers into killers. It was, as you said, the worst mistake of their lives, a choice that didn't just waste their own futures, but brutally and senselessly stole the futures of 7 innocent people.